Okay. Hello and aloha pa to everybody in the planet. It's during the day. I feel stronger and better. What time is it? It's 5:30 actually in the afternoon. Today is 14th of April. Saturday. I said previously that there is 10 lines that Baha'u'llah starts a prayer using the plot of the nature. I explained a few lines last time. I'm going to do the rest of that 10 lines today, which I have to write one more line. I'm going to have to clean that up and do another line. So in this line, as you can see, Baha'u'llah says, let me use my little thing, it helps me. His Holiness says, Daune bukshade dahan suye sama. Dane means the seed. Bukshade was opened. Dahan, mouth. Suye, towards. Sama, heaven, sky. Again, is a simile. He says the seed has opened the mouth towards the sky. Have you seen, when a seed is planted, two little, seedling comes right out, the leaf just comes out right out. It's like almost like a mouth opens. So this is the simile of a person who is just starting, like me, going towards God. He just opened his mouth to say things to God. Communicate is a simile to that individual, which is just like a seed has been planted and now it's growing and is giving wants to communicate with God. He says Daune bukshade dahan suye sama. The seeds open the mouth towards heaven. Ta biayad bar vei as Fazlat Baha. Ta means till, biayat to come towards him, bar towards, vei. Vei is it means, there's two words for vei. Vei means he or she, but usually it's not used in the normal language, like in casual speaking. We just use the word u. U means the third person, he or she. But in poetry, or sometimes even in news, they use the word vei instead of u. So this is the word vei. As means from, fazlat, fazl means grace, fazlat means your grace, baha. This baha, I am not sure, but I can say that from my understanding of the cause and the faith, this Baha is not a reference to Baha's glory. Baha has two meanings. What actually I think is Persian. Baha means the price of something. What is worth? Is the Baha of something, is the price of that thing or the worth of it. This Baha means that it's used in the Persian language. The other Baha has actually another sign at the end, which we call it Hamzeh, and that's an Arabic word. So, Ta biayad bar vei az fazlat Baha, till brought towards him from your grace worth. Because a seed wants to be worth it. It wants to be pricey. It wants to have a value. That's why it opens the mouth towards the God, towards the heaven, so maybe get some water from the sky or something, or the sun, because that makes it to bring up its value. Okay? And the second line, about the same line, in reference to the first line, the first hemistich, قطره‌های رحمتت بر وی ببار. قطره, we said already, قطره means drops. قطره هایه is the plural for that, the drops. Rahmat again means mercy. te at the end, rahmatat means your mercy, bar, on, vey again means he or she, u, the third person, it could be it. Bebar means to rain. So, drops of the grace, the drops of your grace, rain towards or onto that seed. So, قطره های رحمتت بر وی ببار. Drops of your mercy onto him shine. Shower. Rain. باریدن means rain. ببار means rain onto that seed, the drops of your grace. The second mistake of the second line says, ای ملیک عرش و ای میر دیار. A again means O. There's two words for it, O or Ya. Malik means the king. It means the possessor. King and the possessor of Arsh means the throne. O means Va, but in the poetry we don't say Va, we simply say O. A Malik Arsho O. A, same thing, Yo. Mire Diyar. Mir is, in the poetry, it's abbreviations of the word Amir. You've heard Amir, Emir. Amir means a governor. It means, could be used for the king as well, sometimes. You could say Amir means king, but it means like a governor. It means the Amir. So Amir, Mir, and Malik, they both meaning the same thing. Malik is actually the king and the possessor of the throne. Amir means the governor of Diyar. Diyar comes for as a synonym, as an antonym to Arsh. Arsh means heaven. Diyar means here on the ground. Diyar means the estates, the country. What is your Diyar? Where you come from? Where's your country? Where's your land? Where's your homeland? Diyar. So he says in this line, the drops of your grace rain upon him the drops of your mercy, O King and possessor of the throne, and the governor and the kings of the land here on the ground. Diyar. It's all in the form of prayer, but the plot of it is always nature. Like he uses the word qatre, drops, dane, which is seed, sama, which means heaven, or baridan, which means shower, raining. So as he continues, he kind of uses a final word here. It's very important, this line. He says, kharq kon, kharq kon, khe and ghe, kharq kon. In پرده ستوی را خوش تماشا ده کنون آن روی را. خرق کن is turn asunder, burst it open, take it away. What? Khar means to turn asunder, to open, to break. Kon means do, open. In this, parde means veil, a curtain. Satura, a curtain that there is 100 layers. There are many layers. One after another it has to go so we can understand who you are, who that eternity is. The word sat, which means 100 here, is a figurative thing. It does not necessarily say that it is actually 100 layers, no. It simply says sounds of many layers, it means. Like we say in English, there's myriads and myriads of something, thousands of something. In Persian they use that too. So turn asunder this curtain, this veil of 100 layers. Sat means 100, tu means layer, in. Ra means the layers. 100, the 100 layers. This curtain, this veil. And then it says, once the veil goes away, خوش تماشا ده کنون آن روی را. Okay. So if this 100 layers veil is gone away, Baha'u'llah says to God, take these veils. You know, so many veils we have in the life. So many times we buy something, we get something, we want something, and later on we find out we're wrong and we keep apologizing from ourselves. Oh, I made a mistake. So we seem to be the number one deceiver of ourselves, because we do things and then it's wrong. What is it exactly that we want? Why is that? It's because we simply grow. As we grow, we have different coordinates. We are relative to this time now. We say these things and we know these things. As we grow, something else happens. I've gathered that every 5 years we die. When we're a baby, when we become 5 years, completely change, you know, recycled. That 5 years has nothing to do with that old baby, small born. And then the 5 becomes 10, it's the same thing. 10, 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25. And after 25, the changes does not happen by nature, or we have to do it ourselves, you know. From the time that we're not adult, then we become adult, and then we marry, then we have children, and we become grandfather and grandmother. It's just every time things changes and the perspective changes. So there's many layers, you know, towards the truth. All of that truth is a part of understanding the eternity of God, in fact, you see. Truth is one. So Baha'u'llah says, turn asunder this veil of 100 layers and demonstrate, show off beautifully. Khosh, beautifully show, tamasha, de. Tamasha, de means give, show. Tamasha. Khosh, beautifully show of now. Kunun means now. The actual word is aknun, but the A, it gets cut off in the poetry. So konun is really aknun. Beautifully show off now that face. That face. We talked about liqa'ullah, the countenance of God, the presence of God. This ru means face, the countenance. That face, he says, there's 100 layers. Take these layers away and show that one. The road is hard and long. The next line, he says, His Majesty, Zan ke, zan, because of that, zan ke dar in, fazlat, your grace, nabashad, is not. Bashad means it is. Na, in the Persian, is simply the word na, and you could make the verb negative. Bashad means let it be, nabashad, let it not be. Because that in your grace there is no shebhei, there's no doubt, shebhe or shobhe, whichever way you like to say it. Shobhe means no doubt. E means one, actually. Shobhe is not, there's no doubt, there's not one doubt. There isn't doubt in your grace, because there is no doubt in your grace. بحر ما بربند ز لطفت توشه‌ای. بحر means for. And in Persian we use baraye. I already explained that. In poetry, instead of baraye, we can say bahre with the e at the end. Bahre ma, for us. Ma means us, we, for us. Barband, pack, basically. Pack from your grace, lotf means grace again, lotfat, your grace, tushaya, provisions. Like in the way, from your grace, pack for us some provisions, because the road is long. That provision and touche, which means provisions, what you take with you when you go on the trip, when you go to the mountain, you put in your pack sack, that's your touche. Touche, what you put inside it. It's your provisions of the road, of the way. So the line says, because there is no doubt in your grace, pack for us from, again, lots you can say grace or favor, from your favor, provisions. Give us a favor of a provision in this road. And this line, then I have to wipe this out and write down the other line to finish this 10 before we go to another sessions where you start something else, Baha'u'llah. Finally, he says here again in this line, مشرق کل کن کنون این غرب را بهجت ملد کنون این شرب را. مشرق means east, horizon. In the Persian, the word غروب means sunset, but it also signifies of somebody going down. They say the company went down in its غروب, or the son of his success, deed went down. غروب or غرب comes from the غروب, means west. غرب did غرب کرد, which means went down actually. So east and the west, in Persian, the word west has also kind of a spiritual significance, negatively. Means the place that things are dark, the sun is gone. It has a spiritual, meaning into it. For example, we say the son of Muhammad has gone down or gone to west, which means went down. So Mashriq means the east, where the sun comes, spiritually. Kol means everyone. Kon means do. Konun, actual word is aknun, a is follow. Konun means now. In means this, Qarb means west. West, again, not the west, physical west here. This means the sundown. Qarb means the sundown. If you want to translate it, you should not say the west, you have to say the sundown. Mashriq is not also is not the horizon in that sense. It means the dawn in a place, and this is the sunset, okay? It says, make this entire Qarb, in this case, the entire this going down of everything, okay? When everything is when the sun goes down, when everything is dark and this dusk. He says the entire universe really right now, it has become that the sunset, setting, everything has set down, it's getting dark. Baha'u'llah says Mashriq, which means dawning place, it's horizon, it's morning. Kol means every. Make every, now, right now, it says make this west, make this going down, every one of them, everywhere in the world, make it to become the down in place, not the sundown. but sunrise. Make everywhere, all the sundowns, these downs, the sundowns, this is spiritually going down, turn it into a mashraq, which means the downing place, the sunrise. Make this west, all of this west, make it to be the sunrise. This one is trickier. It says, بهجت ملده کنون این شرب را. Sharb and garb are, rhymes, because they both end to be. Behjat means the glad tiding. Give the good news. Good news of what? Good news of the mole. Sharb means drink. It is shorb, but here is sharb. Sharb exists as a word in Persian. Washman drinks, a water, glass of water, that is the drink, plain drinks. He says this plain drink, give this plain drink the glad tiding of the intoxications. Mol means a drink that is a wine. Let this plain drink, give this plain drink the glad tiding of mol, wine. So what's the implications of these two? It means the life is plain, is boring. We are enjoying of this, cliche of living. From the things we do and the things to buy, there's nothing particularly exciting, really. There's no exuberance into it, you see. There's nothing to be exuberant. And if it is, it's just a flash, comes and goes. So this is the way of life, this sharb. This is what we drink. It has not just a drink of water. Here implies that our intake is very plain. Let it have the excitement of the wine that makes you drunk, that makes you excited. So here we see that Baha'u'llah uses the old plot of the Sufis, that they were saying that, I was mentioning to you in the very beginning, that how a drink of the wine, it was a reference to the actual writing. They made a plot of a beautiful woman to be God, to be the messengers of God, to be the truth. So this is a plot of the old in a different way, though, Baha'u'llah. There's this cliche, this plain drinks, our plain intake of the life, which is very boring. Give him the glad tiding of the drink of a wine, which is excitement. Mol, that's what it means. So behjat means glad tiding, mol means a drink of wine. They give konun, which really is aknun. Konun means now, this shad, this drink, the drink. Give the plain drink, which is the intake of life, the glad tiding of an excitement, like as it is in wine, as opposed to the drink of plain water. So over this, there's one more line, which I'm going to have to clean this up. So, what is this line here? The last line. Oh, I went to English as a version. Nur Del Ra. Nur de. Well, Nur Del Ra, Nur de Zanwar, Nur. Okay. Wer, die, and, as, ro, gaat, anwar, retour. Okay. This is the last number of that 10. Baha'u'llah says, okay. Nur del ra, nur de zanwar nur. Wow. There's many nur here. Nur means light. So, nur del is the light of the heart. Nur re of. Means of, Nure of Del, Nure Del Ra, the light of the heart. The light of the heart, he says, give it Nur. So, if in the heart there's already light, Baha'u'llah is not enough. A lot of time we have, some light in our heart. Like Mr. Bill Gates, we like to help others. Or like Nelson Mandela, we like to go to jail for the sake of people. There is some enlightened heart. But Baha'u'llah says that's not enough. That is not in coordination with the rest of the mankind. It's an individual plan. It's not a part of the full picture. It might create and might have some lashbacks. So I've explained those things. I'm not going to do that right now. But it says that light that's in your heart, it has to still, it says to God, give light to the light of heart. If you're light-hearted and you're a good person, you still don't understand Baha'u'llah. Well, then you cannot be a part of the pack. You're not a part of the things. You're a part of a different universe. So that light of your heart, Baha'u'llah says, has to have light. Give light to the heart, to the light of the heart. From which light? From the lights of the light. Ooh, now this is it. Eh? First of all, we have a nur in our heart. That's why we have a tendency to become a Baha'i. If we don't have that light in our heart, we can't even come towards Baha'i Faith. So we have to have that. But that has to have a proper light. You see, coordinated light. The light that guides you not just to the road, but to the road, not to no closed road. So he says, give light to the light of heart from the lights of the light. This nur here which I did not even write it down in English. I have to write down Zanwar. I tell you why. This Aleph here with this sign on the top, which is not in the Persian, has to have that sign. And once that sign is on the top, which I've given you in that things is going to go soon on the website, so this Aleph is omitted. So Z and War, the Aleph goes, becomes Zanwar. Zanwar means the lights. Anwar is the plural of the Nur. Nur, N-W-O-R, means light. Anwar is the plural of the Nur. Baha'u'llah says, there is this light, which is the God. This light has many light coming from it. This is the white light. It breaks into the prism, rainbow, and it turns into many lights. Anwar means lights, many color of lights. See, Anwar. This Anwar comes from this Nur. So, when the light of God, which is unseen, breaks into the prism of this life, gives many, many lights. From this lights, which comes from this light, original light, Baha'u'llah asked God, give light from the lights of the essential light to the light of the heart. You see that? There's 3 times repeated the Nur. Nur Del, the light of heart, which doesn't necessarily a Baha'i, is a good person. Such person, such light in heart has to have a Nur to get actually fall into the perspective, and it becomes the part of the whole. Not just become a hydrogen in the middle of the universe and is not getting attracted to the rest of it to become the part of the sun. It's outside of gravity, he says. This light is outside of the gravity. It has to have the gravity of this light. Give light to the light of heart from the lights of the essential light. See? Nur. This has to have Nur. Okay? Now what happens if that happens? So if we receive the light from the lights, that's like a prism here, of the essential light to the light of our heart, something will happen. Everyone can see. This is from your face. Rachat and Vawratur. Wow. So Baha'u'llah says to God, if you enlighten the light of the heart with the lights, the splendors of the essential light, till ta bebinand, everyone see, as from rochat. Roch means face. We said right now, there are many words probably for face. The Persian, they have ru, means face, also roch. Roch also means face. Arabs, they use surat, which means face, or in the very literal language, they use lega, which means also face. Surat and lega is Arabic, ru and roch is Persian. So, till they see from your roch, from your face, from your countenance, the lights of the Tur. Tur is the Mount Sinai, the mount that Moses went on the top. From there, he saw the light of God in that bush. He says to God, if you enlighten these lights of the heart from the splendors of the essential light they will see from your countenance, which is Baha'u'llah, actually the lights of the Tur. The burning bush that Moses saw, which was in Tur, the Mount of Tur or Sinai, okay, from his face, the face of Baha'u'llah, the countenance of Baha'u'llah becomes the countenance of God. But there's process here, 3 processes. First, you have to have an enlightened heart, a light-hearted person you have to be. You have to have certain attributes, compassions, or else you can't. You have to bring some down payment if you want to become a Baha'i, just like in Islam. To become a Baha'i, you don't have the Baha'i books in front of you. There's a prerequisite. It's kindness. I've explained. If you have a good instinct, it results in good modes. The good modes creates good habits, and good habits create good ethics, and good ethics creates good deeds, and that eventually creates a good attributes in you. You become actually generous. Now you have a light in your heart. But your light in the heart is not a part of the whole. It's not a part of the, the complex of the universe. You're not a part of the team. In that case, you have to have another light added to your light to get enlightened, not just to do good things the way you think you should know, but you have to do good things as a part of the pack, where Baha'u'llah says this is, for example, do good things. If you go give all kind of money, it will never have the effect that he says you have to pay 19% of your extra money over extra all of your needs paid off. Now you have $100,000 extra in the bank. You have to pay 19% of that. That's the share of God. 19%. You can't pay 18, 21. No, it has to be exact amount. Take it as an exact code. That is that nur, the second light. A light with proper frequencies, with proper size, with proper amount, proper pixels. Baha'u'llah says, give that light to the light of heart from that prisms, anwar, many lights of the essential light. So Baha'u'llah here says that he has many lights, which is, he's into the world of prism. The one light, as it's in the physics, when it comes into prism, it breaks into many lights. So Baha'u'llah shows all those lights. You can see compassion, you can see all kinds of things, All the lights of the truth in every direction is right showing, in many color. From that light, a proper light is to be given the light of heart. If that is, says to God, you do that, then they see from my countenance, which is the countenance of God, this is, from your rochat, they will people see the lights of the Tur. Tur is that in the mount at the burning bush. Moses saw the light. From the countenance of Baha'u'llah, you will see that light of God. So these are the 10 lines. That explanation is a lot. You can explain, oh my God, in many ways. I can come down tomorrow, talk about these things, and I wouldn't know what I said today, but I will come up with the new stuff again. It's dialectic. It doesn't get repeated. It just keeps coming. Every time is a new things. Every time is a new day. So then the light of the heart has to be enlightened with the splendors of the essential light. If you do that, they shall see from your countenance the lights of the Tur. Tur is the mount that Moses went onto it. I don't know, it is Sinai. Sinai, the mount of Sinai in Persian is Sina. Tur is another mount. I just said Sinai. That mount that Moses went onto it. Okay, I think I'm going to conclude here, because next time Baha'u'llah talks few lines where he's taking the sword off and he's attacking now those who are opposing, those who are the enemy of the truth, the enemy of mankind. We shall see you next time. Baha'u'llah be with you.